5 things that make a good relationship to fail. Just because you are in a good relationship will never guarantee that that relationship is going to succeed if you don't do the rightful things you need to do that will make that relationship to succeed. So on this video, I'll be showing you 5 things that will make your relationship to fail, that will make that good relationship to fail. Number one thing that will make that good relationship to fail on my list today is ignoring small issues until it becomes big. You need to understand that any little issue you ignore today, you ignore tomorrow, you ignore the day after tomorrow, is going to gradually become big until that issue is so big to the extent that it will tear that your good relationship apart. So, if you are planning to have a good relationship, once there is any little issue, any little mistake, don't wait until it becomes issue both of you cannot handle. So both of you need to come together, sit down, address the issue. What is causing this issue? How do we put measure in place to make sure this kind of issues are not reoccurring in future the next time? Because if you ignore this little issue, a time will come, that little issue you are ignoring will become so big that it is going to tear your relationship apart. Number 2 things people do that make a good relationship to fail is taking each other for granted because we are in a relationship. This is number 2 thing that make a good relationship fail. Please do well to listen to the end. My number 5 point is one of the biggest reason good relationship fail in this our society today. So do well to listen to the end if you don't want something like this to happen in your relationship, or if it is happening already, you know how to address it. Taking each other for granted because we're in a relationship. No. You understand? Love needs appreciation to keep appreciating. You understand? You need to understand the power of appreciation. Anything you appreciate will continue to increase. So you might, just because you are not in a relationship, you now take each other for granted. You remember when you were chasing her, or when you were hoping to be in that relationship, those little things you were doing, those appreciating the call, those appreciating the message, appreciating the little gifts that these people send. So because the person has said yes to your proposal, you understand, you are not in a relationship, you no longer need to appreciate them. You understand? You feel entitled. You feel it is their duty. You take them for granted. So that is a very, very big mistake people make. Just because you are in a relationship does not mean that you take my activity for granted, you take my kind gesture for granted, you take my little acts for granted. Learn to appreciate your partner, because anything you appreciate more in that your partner will continue to increase. So if you want your partner to be somebody who gives, you be a giver. And anytime you see that your partner has given you any little thing, might be something that is very, very small, might be something that is very, very small. Appreciate it. Don't take it for granted. Don't use words like, what have you done that nobody else has done before? Or is this the best you can do? Or don't you see what your mates are doing? Those are very, very evil words. Stay away from it. So number 3 thing people do that end a very good relationship that started very well is losing yourself because you're in a relationship. You understand? I've said this over and over and over again. When you are in a relationship, you don't lose yourself. You still continue to chase your dream. You still continue your personal development plan, because as you continue to grow personally, you continue to look attractive more and more to your partner. You understand? You can't be stagnant in a relationship. You can't, or let me put it like this, you can't be in a relationship now and in the next 6 months you are still the same version of you that you are today. You understand? You are in a relationship, you are losing yourself, you don't chase your dream, you are stagnant, you are just obsessed of the relationship. No. You understand? If you continue like that, that relationship is not going to last and is not going to go well, regardless the nature of the relationship. You understand? The number 4 thing that will make a good relationship to fail is expecting your partner to read your mind. You understand? Expecting your partner, who is not God or Holy Spirit, to know what you are thinking in your heart, or to know what what you are requesting for. You understand? Personally, I think you need to first of all discover yourself before you go into a relationship. You understand? You need to discover yourself. You need to master yourself. You need to understand yourself properly. How do you express yourself? Because nobody is a God that will know what is going on in your heart. You understand? Because even God himself told us in Matthew 7 verse 7, he said, ask and you shall be given, knock and the door will what be open. So if God instructed us to ask him anything, that he will give us, so why do you expect me to be in a relationship with you and you are not opening up to me? You expect me to read your mind just because I'm what? You understand? Most times people make statements like this: you ought to know what to do. You ought to know you need to call me, or you need to text me. You ought to know you need to know. Communicate. Open out your expectation. Tell me the things you are expecting me to do. Tell me your expectations. Tell me this, tell me that. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me things you appreciate about me. Tell me things you want me to work on. Tell me things that you are struggling with. Share your weakness with me. Share your strength. Share your expectations. Share your goals. Share your visions. You understand? This will help me to understand you more, because assumption is very, very bad. I don't want to be in the position where I'm assuming that we are cool and we are not. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm assuming that the relationship is going on fine from our perspective, and from your end, I'm not even putting any effort and I'm not even doing anything to make sure that relationship is thriving. So, expecting your partner to read your mind is a very, very big mistake most people make, that make a good relationship to fail. So before I give my number 5 point, I want to specially thank you for watching it to this extent. So if you have not heard anything I've been saying so far in this video, this my number 5 point is something I think you should need to write it down, pen it down, hashtag it in your mind, so that when something like this is trying to occur, you know how to fight it and prevent it from destroying your relationship. So number 5 thing people do that end a good relationship is pride and ego. Yeah, pride and ego has destroyed so many relationships that anything else has. In fact, if you know of anything that has ended relationship, in fact, you can't compare it to pride and ego. In fact, pride and ego is the king of them all. Yes, I've seen relationship that had major crisis, but just because of the fact that the parties that were involved in that relationship don't have pride and ego, the relationship still move on, becoming better and better. At the end of the day, you understand, you need to fight pride and ego by all means, by everything you have within your capacity. Don't wait for her to call you first, or for you understand, If you know it is right for you to call, call. If you know it is right for you to do the testing, do it. If you know you offended them, you needed to say sorry, say sorry. This is not, we are not living in the world of, I'm a man. You need to understand that men has ego. Who ego help? Ego will definitely kill your relationship more than anything. So is it a big deal for you to say I'm sorry when you know you have done something wrong to me just because of the fact that you are a man? No, that's ego. That's ego playing out. So you need to take responsibility to yourself, not to allow pride and ego get into you, because it's going to kill that good relationship faster than anything. Apologize when you need to apologize. Do the needful. Do what is right. Say, I am sorry when you've done something wrong. It will not take anything. It will not make you lesser. You understand? It won't take anything away from you. Apologize when you need to say, when you need to apologize. So, and even when you are right, you understand? Even when you are right, you still need to say sorry. Say it. You understand? Why? Because you have a purpose. You have a purpose that this relationship needs to be better. So once again, thank you for watching. If it's your first time on this channel, do it to subscribe, like the video, and also share with somebody you think that might want to watch the video. So before you go, my number one point was ignoring small issues, and that issue becomes a bigger issue that destroys the relationship. So my number 2 point was taking each other for granted. Just because this person has accepted to date you, has accepted to be your babe, you don't take her for granted, you take her call for granted, you take her message for granted, you take her presence for granted. So number 3 is losing yourself just because you're in a relationship. You are not adding value to your life again because you're in a relationship. While number 4 point is expecting your partner to read your mind. You ought to know this, you ought to know this, you ought to know this. No, it's a very, very big mistake people do that end a good relationship. While my number 5 point was pride and ego. And remember I said that pride and ego has destroyed many relationships than anything else has ever done. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. And before you go, always have this at the back of your mind that relationship is a choice. You understand? So if you need to be in a relationship, do all it takes to make it work and to make it better. Thank you.